"She's lying," my best friend shouted across the wedding hall, her voice slicing through the music like a blade. Every head turned, the room went silent. I was standing in my wedding dress, bouquet trembling in my hands, when I realized my perfect day had just shattered. I had known Amara for 12 years. We grew up together, shared secrets, cried over heartbreaks, and promised to be each other's maid of honor one day. I never imagined that the same woman who helped me choose my wedding shoes would be the one to try to destroy my marriage before it even began. The ceremony was moments away. Guests were seated. My husband-to-be, Daniel, stood at the altar smiling, unaware that a storm was about to break loose. Amara stood up suddenly, eyes red, hands shaking. "I can't let you do this," she said, pointing at me. "She hasn't told you the truth." Murmurs rippled through the hall. My heart pounded so loudly I could barely hear my own thoughts. "What truth?" Daniel asked, confused. Amara took a deep breath and said the words that nearly made me collapse. "She's been seeing another man, even weeks before this wedding." Gasps filled the room. Someone dropped a glass. My mother clutched her chest. I felt heat rush to my face as shame and shock tangled together. "It's a lie," I cried. "Why would you do this to me?" Amara turned to Daniel and pulled out her phone. "I have messages, late-night calls, photos." Before she could continue, someone stood up slowly from the front row. It was my mother-in-law. She had been quiet all morning, calm, observant, the kind of woman who spoke only when necessary. As she walked toward the altar, the confidence in her steps commanded the room. "Enough," she said firmly. She took the phone from Amara's hand and glanced at the screen for less than 10 seconds. Then she looked up and did something no one expected. She laughed, a soft, knowing laugh. "These messages," she said, turning the phone around, "are from a number registered to you, Amara, and the photos edited poorly." The hall erupted. Amara's face drained of color. "You're lying," she whispered. "My mother-in-law wasn't done. I hired a private investigator weeks ago," she continued calmly. "Not because I doubted my son's bride, but because I sensed jealousy, obsession, something unhealthy." She reached into her handbag and pulled out an envelope. "Inside this envelope is proof that you've been trying to sabotage this relationship for months. Fake accounts, anonymous messages, even an attempt to frame her." The silence that followed was suffocating. Daniel stepped down from the altar and stood beside me, his hand gripping mine tightly. "Is this true?" he asked Amara. Tears streamed down her face as she collapsed into a chair. "I loved you," she sobbed. "She didn't deserve you. I couldn't watch you marry her." Security quietly escorted her out, while guests whispered in disbelief. I was shaking. My knees felt weak. That was when my mother-in-law turned to me, held my face gently, and said something I will never forget. "Today, you didn't just gain a husband," she said softly. "You gained a family that will protect you." The music started again. The officiant cleared his throat, and despite the chaos, despite the betrayal, I walked down the aisle with my head held high. That day taught me a painful truth. Sometimes the deepest betrayal comes from the person you trust most. And sometimes, the greatest love and loyalty comes from where you least expect it.